How many of us have spent 34 years in one career? That is true for Dr. Tanna Nicely. She is the outgoing principal of South Knoxville Elementary School. Here for 11 years, she has spent more than 3 decades in education. We wanted to talk to her about the highlights, some lowlights, and what she loves most about teaching. Dr. Nicely, just a couple of business items. How many years in teaching and education?
34.
34.
Yes.
You started at 19.
Yeah, 20.
What does it feel like to say that, 34 years?
It sounds like I'm old, but I don't feel old.
No, you're not old.
No.
You have, remind us the roles that you have served in education.
I have been a teacher of every grade level except first grade. And I have been an instructional coach, a math specialist, assistant principal, and my favorite role has been principal.
And you've been at SKE, South Knoxville Elementary School, for 11 years.
11 years.
What's running through your mind?
It's very bittersweet. In just a few short minutes, you're going to be graduates of South Knoxville Elementary. And I want you to carry that with pride. It's hard to say those 2 words, goodbye, because I've given so much here and the community has just embraced me and just taken the school from, level 1 to level 5, and it has truly been a village that's worked together. And so I can't say goodbye because it's not. I'm still going to be invested in this community once I leave.
For people who aren't familiar with SKE, what role does it play in this community?
It's Center City. It's the nucleus of the community. It is truly a community school without being called one, because this is where things happen. This is where people in the community and the businesses ask for things and donate things, and we are Central City to this Old Sevier and Island Home community.
And remind us how many students are here, K through 5?
We have around 200 right now.
And what has been the most challenging thing in your 11 years here?
I think getting the message out, telling the story the way South Knoxville wanted it told. I learned a lot about marketing, a lot about politics, a lot about who to ask and who to tell, and just telling the story the way it should be told.
You reminded me several times that this is a place where students can see Neyland,
yes,
but often they can't afford to go to a UT football game.
Yes. You know this, you were part of this years ago, that there was a tweet that went out about dumping the tickets. And it just made me mad. And before church on a Sunday morning, before my husband could stop me, I just went ahead and tweeted out and said, look, we want those tickets. Don't dump them. We have kids at this school that cannot ever see Neyland without these tickets. And so it was remarkable that people that came from outside of Knoxville, all the way from Florida, that brought these tickets, overnighted them to me. Over 356 tickets were donated that one year. So we did it for multiple years, but such a great opportunity for these families to see a UT football game.
Any other changes in the school you think are worth highlighting?
The library. I think that the library was the beginning. Where we saw a need to upgrade and to make it more of just a place to check out books. And so makerspace came involved, 3D printers. You think about it, we made it happen, and just vibrant colors to the walls, and a doorway to open up to the community to allow community meetings in the evening. So it's a multi-purpose room now instead of just a library. And then trying to figure out how to get kids to love books more. Increasing circulation. And so the library, full circle, just 2 weeks ago, we received a $75,000 Carl Ripken Jr. grant, through Boys and Girls Club. We have Boys and Girls Club here, and so they use the library in the afternoons. We use it during the day, so it's a perfect marriage. So of course, Boys and Girls Club took that $75,000, and we made it happen last Friday by re-imaging the library again. So yesterday I received word that the library is being named after me, and that's full circle. Full circle.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
The first day of school at South Knoxville Elementary in 2020 looks different than any other in its 65-year history.
You navigated COVID at this school. You allowed us to come in and film a documentary throughout that time.
Yes.
What do you remember about that year? What stands out to you?
It was the hardest year that I've ever experienced. Just not having the connection. Well, you know, John, I'm a hugger. I love that personal relationship, and we were not allowed to have that. And then seeing the kids drive by as they were picking up their food bags and couldn't touch them. And several kids would put their hand on the window, and I would put my hand back on the window. It was very hard. Navigating, I had lots of families ask about vaccinations. Would you do it? Would you not? You know, where do we get the vaccinations at? So we were, again, Central City for the food, for the information, and for instruction. I will have to give a lot of praise to my teachers. They stood online past the hours just to be nothing else, a counselor for the families, a place to listen to parents talk about their children, and so those relationships were critical, but it was hard doing it virtually, very hard.
You did have about a third of the school that came back in person, right?
Yes, we did.
And what was that like? What do you remember about that with masks and social distancing and all those words we became so familiar with?
Yes, my husband owned a sign company at the time, and so, trying to navigate the signage, where to step at, how many feet the government wanted you to stand from each other. So we did all that prep work before the students came back, and then just trying to think about, we could, for a 4-year-old, a pre-K-er coming back, all they want to do is hug you and be close to you. And so, trying to think of ways to say things without saying, so we had lots of stuffed animals that we gave away and try to provide that, but it was very hard. Lots of pre-planning went into this before we actually had the kids come back.
Mm-hmm. Anything else about that time that you want to say or remember?
Well,
I love my teachers and my principal.
I cried multiple times on air. My family were like, all she does is cry. But it was it was an emotional time. It was very emotional, and it was hard when the world shut down. It was hard for us to navigate. Well, and I live on a farm out in Granger County, and it was interesting and great for me. I fished all the time and took walks and took care of the cattle, but not everybody had that opportunity. And so navigating that was very difficult for some of our families, and I feel like I carried that burden as well as my teachers. And to this day, there are opportunities to, virtual is great, but it's not for everybody.
We learned that.
Yes.
What else did you learn across your 30-year plus career that you think is important for younger educators to understand about what they're getting into?
The job is hard. You don't get a lot of praise, except from those little kids. And I feel like that it's the most respected job, but yet also the most critical job, because everybody's had an experience with school. So it's almost like staying at that, the commercial about the Holiday Inn. I stayed there, so I'm now my expert. That's the way teaching is. Every parent has had, whether it's a good or a bad experience, they've had that experience with a principal, they've had it with an officer, they've had it with a teacher. And so a lot of times I'm trying to break down the barrier of, I'm not the mean principal that carried the big paddle with holes in it. So I think building those relationships is paramount. If you don't have the relationship, how can the academics and everything else move forward? So relationship building is number one.
That's where it starts, whether you're in the classroom or an administrative role.
Absolutely. And knowing that the community has to know that you care. And as I just said, I was born in Baptist Hospital. Didn't live in South Knoxville, but I am a South Knoxvillian. True and true.
True and true. Just on the academic side, so much is changing so quickly. AI is moving into this world. Do you have some advice about how educators can look at what's coming down the pike and adapt to what is really our future?
Yes. I feel like that we just need to be informed. We need to make sure, I think that, you know, if some people say, well, I teach graduate class in technology at Johnson University in the summer, and AI was something that we talked about 3 years ago, and it's coming, it's here. If you use your phone, Siri, you're using AI, and a lot of people don't realize that. So AI is around. I can, you know, go to my house and say, you know, play AC/DC, and there's something in the house, you know, Alexa, that plays AC/DC for you.
Or you can say, hey, can you create a lesson plan?
Exactly.
It'll create it for you.
It can create it for you. I think with that comes a responsibility, though, because as smart as AI is, nothing beats the human brain. And so, and the feelings that we have, our hearts. So I feel like that while there are things that we can use with AI, I still think that we need to, that human brain and that human heart has to navigate it.
What do you do now?
So for the first summer in over 30 years, I will have a summer for about a month. My parents need me, and that's the whole catalyst of retiring, really. My dad is suffering from the later stages of Alzheimer's, and they need me. And to keep them home, that was a promise that my brother and I made years ago, and now they need me. So I'm going to go home, I'm going to fish, and then I'm going to do some more adjunct work and start working at Carson-Newman University.
Can you ever imagine you taking a different path, or did you seem destined to do this one?
That's a great question. So in 4th grade, I wrote an essay about what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I was a teacher. It was always an educator. Even when my guidance counselor in high school said, you're wasting your brain on being a teacher, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer. And that was profound to me, because I said, what other occupation would you use your brain more than being a teacher and educating others? So I've educated a lot of lawyers, a lot of doctors. I've educated a lot of ice cream makers. So I feel like that my role has been to educate the masses.
When they look back and say, Dr. Nicely accomplished this, what do you hope is the first thing that comes to mind?
I just want not necessarily a college graduate, but a well-rounded individual that contributes to our society. And that can take the form of many different looks. I had a student that I student taught with in 1989, 1990 at Sunnyview Primary, came back to my retirement reception. She's an ELL teacher in Knox County Schools. And she brought me to my knees with the story that she had about, the impact. You don't realize the impact you have on your students until they come back and tell you. And I love that.
Anything else that I haven't asked you think is important to add on these final days at SKE?
I just think that I can't thank this community, the parents, the teachers, the staff, the children enough for the love they've given me, and how I have felt appreciated, I have felt loved. And like I said, once SKE, always SKE, and I will not go away. I will be back. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens.
You shared one last thing at this 5th grade graduation that is your favorite Bible verse that is really about chapters in life.
Yes.
Can you share why it moves you and what you hope it says to others?
It took me a couple of months to say goodbye to my staff and to announce. I had toyed with it, went back and forth, thought I could go part-time, this and that, and that chapter in Ecclesiastes kept coming back to me about a season. There is a season. And so with a lot of prayer and a lot of guidance from my husband, that's how I opened my staff meeting. And they knew before I even opened my mouth what was going to happen. And so it's helped to guide me. And because this is not really a retirement, I think retirement's turned into a really negative word. It's a new chapter that's opening in my life. Besides, I'm too young.
Best of luck to you, Dr. Nicely.